Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Hollow Knight. In the last part we reached Godhome, which is, in a sense, the last area of the game. Not literally, in that you can get here earlier, as soon as you have a simple key to enter the Royal Waterways. I think you might need dive to get to the lower part of the waterways, and a second simple key and the dream nail to actually enter Godhome. But because it is a boss rush area, fully completing it requires having unlocked all the bosses by fighting them in the outer world. So it is very common to do as I am doing and leave Godhome until the very last content. And in fact that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going out because I would like to finish the last couple of loose ends that we have and then go back to Godhome when it's the only thing remaining. Unfortunately, this does mean we have to do a bit of a trek back out, because while there is the Dream Gate ability and it's very useful, it is only one way. So when you've decided whether to place your Dream Gate either outside Godhome itself, which makes it easy to teleport into Godhome, but then you have to do the long walk out. Or you could put the Dream Gate at a stag station, and then it's easy to teleport out, but you have the long walk back in. Either way, you can't just get in and out very quickly, as would be nice. We don't have the final nail upgrade yet, so I'm trying to get a little bit of money as I'm going along. So, of the remaining loose ends, I believe that at the end of the last episode I promised doing the secret area in White Palace next, so that's where we're going. It shouldn't take long to get to the area. We don't have to go back through all the gauntlets of sawblades. And in fact, after completing the White Palace, dream nailing that guy takes you straight here to the lobby. And what we want is to sit at a bench and consider charms, because what comes next is a very difficult platforming gauntlet. We certainly don't want a fragile charm on. They do actually break in the White Palace, even though it's sort of inside a dream. Basically, the idea is that the radiance is strong enough that she can kill you even inside certain dreams. So White Palace and the Radiance fight itself, which is inside the Hollow Knight's dream. So don't need Gathering Swarm, obviously, but I am taking Shaman Stone because there is a bit of combat. But mostly what's coming up is platforming, so I need to be able to heal quickly and without enemies to regain soul from. So Deep Focus and Grub Song, that combination means that I gain soul every time I get hit, and although focusing is slower, it gives me double the soul back. And Grubberfly's Elegy, so some charms in the game have synergies, so they work together, they have special effects, and this is one of them. If you combine Grub Song and Grubberfly's Elegy, as well as giving you the sword beams, which we don't need, it increases the effect of the Grub Song, so you gain more soul back. And that should be enough to get through this. So we passed through this room before, but it's completely unmarked. But if you attack that wall, you can break through it. And this is the Path of Pain. To witness secrets sealed, one must endure the harshest punishment. There's a soul totem over there in case you want it. Now, great start. So I'm going to be honest, this is actually the second time I've attempted recording the Path of Pain for this Let's Play. The first time I got near to the end of it, but the video length had gotten to be an hour and a half, and more importantly, I was feeling frustrated and tired, and I was becoming painfully aware that I was not doing my best in terms of commentating. But you can see the kind of thing we're up against. This first room is actually one of the hardest. Also, I haven't quite got back into the swing of things after taking a break from recording. So just below those three wing molds, you can break the lowest one and then dash through that gap. A little bit quicker, but I think it's easier to go the intended route up above. So could have saved that if I had dashed to the wall. So to get through this, you really have to be able to pogo on both sawblades and enemies, and that's the first room complete. This is a checkpoint, as well as being a soul totem. So this room is not going to be as hard, but nothing in this gauntlet is easy by any means. We do get some of the game's best music to help motivate you through this. And all the soul totems in the Path of Pain are infinite. There we go. So this is a closed door, obviously. But that is a shortcut, so if you die near the end of Path of Pain, but after opening the shortcut, you don't quite have to go through all the rooms to get back where you were. This one isn't too bad. Although the thorns at the end can catch you out, you cannot pogo on the thorns. I was trying to do a little trick pogo on the side of that saw blade, but it bounced me into the thorns just above it. There, that's the safe way to do that. And this one is kind of similar to the last one, but the jumps are tighter, and you have to avoid the moving saw blade at the bottom. So what I'm trying to do there is a dash into a jump, like that. Okay. I think this is a checkpoint here, not entirely sure. So there's going to be a bit here with a low ceiling, and ooh, just managed to avoid that. This room's very silly. Had to do a bit of stalling by pogoing on the saw, on the stationary saw, while I was waiting for the moving one. So here it does help to know the room layout. Of course, I have to do a crystal dash into the path of the saw and stop it halfway. Oh, I could have saved that. And we don't get a checkpoint after this. Okay. Okay. Fortunately, although the Path of Pain is harder than the main White Palace, it's also much shorter. There's only a few rooms. I think 7 rooms, but some of them do have multiple parts, like this one. Ah. No, that was almost it. Every pogo has to be precise, otherwise you get sent back. Obviously it is a viable choice if you want to take one of the nail lengthening charms, the long nail or mark of pride. They do make some of this a bit easier, but they also make some things a bit harder, like you'd be more at risk of bouncing into a ceiling. I did that bit so well the very first time, and now I'm failing it like a beginner. Yeah, maybe trying to pogo on that while it's moving up, not the best idea. But what else do? You do have to pogo on that last one to get your double jump back to get up. I think the problem I might be having is that it's a lot easier to do some of these things than it is to think or talk about them or put them into words, so commenting automatically makes it harder. That said, I would like to get past this room quite soon because there are much harder ones coming up. But you're getting an idea of what the experience of going through the Path of Pain is like for a first-time player. You'll just be redoing bits of this over and over, and it's fun. It is fun, but it's very challenging. Maybe not the best content for the Let's Play format, but it's in the game, so I've got to do it. Yeah, I don't know exactly what to do at that part because it depends on exactly where the different saw blades are in relation to each other, and you can't know that in advance. Okay, that somehow worked out. Not entirely sure Not entirely sure I deserved it. And yeah, that almost got through. I just tried to lean leftwards to catch the moving saw and didn't quite make it. It was a good idea that could have worked with better execution. Do I really want this video to be the one that goes up on YouTube? Failing this room so much. This is not the hard part. Okay. Not only a checkpoint, but that opens the door we saw earlier. And this is the second last room, although it's a multi-part room. There's a couple of different approaches to it as well. So you can either try staying on the right side and pergoing the saws to get up, or you can try crossing over to the left side, which is a bit more precise. Well, I'll show it. Like so. Ah! And then don't do that. Hey! There we go. Secret soul totem there. And this is a checkpoint, so don't have to do that again. I'm happy that I got through that part reasonably quickly. It's a lot harder than the part I was struggling with. Oh! I'm being very careless. Yeah, this is a part where you've absolutely got to have your pogo game. And it doesn't help that the wing molds can knock you into another hazard, so you take 2 damage, but with the grub song you do get double the soul back, so I'm not in any danger at all of dying and having to restart the entire thing, thank goodness. Also note that I'm never quite healing myself all the way to full. That's because I don't want the sword beam effects of the Grubberfly's elegy to kick in. Oh, that was close. On the first 2 saw blades of that narrow corridor, there's a really weird ceiling that can bounce you down and make your... right there. Hey, that wasn't bad. Yeah, that ceiling can knock you in weird ways and make you fail when you think you'd earned a victory. So we've arrived at the last room already, and that's not bad going. 20 minutes to get here, including the walk from God home. So you can just crystal dash past the first couple of obstacles, but no such mercy for the rest of the room. This is the last room. It is also the hardest room by far. Yeah, you have to be able to adjust yourself to where the saw blades are, because you can't predict all of them in advance. There's so many tiny things that can change, like exactly how long you spend sliding down the wall. This is an awesome test of skill, but I really hope I'll be able to get through it in good time to make this a video. If this ends up going another hour and a half, then I may have to cancel this one as well. Yeah, and that ceiling's a hazard as well. In the video that failed, I hit that so many times. Impatience. At that point, that's so far into it, and I really want to be done, but can't be impatient there. Because so there's an obvious difference between the saws and the floor spikes. So the saws go back and forth, so you can pogo them at any point in their cycle. It doesn't make it easy, but it is possible. Whereas the floor spikes, for quite a while, there's nothing there to pogo. So if you mistime your jump towards them, there is no way to recover it. Ouch. Should not have done that. It's so exasperating each time. Each time a run fails. Especially when it's something stupid. So one thing you can do is, for the very first bit, you can try timing your crystal dash with the floor spikes to end up at a favourable point in the cycle, and I tried that for a bit and I'm not convinced by that. I mean, it works, but it's just so hard to do that I find it just easier to just go and hope. One thing that really helps, that I've kind of only just discovered just now, is that you can do the down slash at a very early point in a jump. Ouch. So that's a way that you can give yourself a bit more leeway. Ceiling again. And this is the point where I start running out of things to say. I'm getting tired. Because I made the first jump pose on the spikes. Oh, well, maybe not. It depends on how I made it. There wasn't necessarily time to do the jump I was trying. There it came off. Ouch! Missed that completely though. Oh, really? Got that far and then messed up. So once you get onto those spikes, the ones that I died on just then, there's a horizontal blade that goes back and forth, and you have to wait for it. And that's really hard because it's fast and on a very long timer. Well, not very long, but it's long. Hopefully I'll be able to show it in a moment. Yeah, I didn't do enough of a jump there. Those floor spikes at the beginning are kind of one of the hardest parts in the room, and that does make this maybe a bit more frustrating than it might otherwise be. Once I get onto the sawblades beyond them, I feel my movement is generally rather fluent. And that's a good feeling, because it definitely... Obviously no one here watching this will know this, but it is definitely more fluent movement than I was able to manage the first time I did this. So the thing to do when you get to those floor spikes is get into a rhythm, just keep going up and down on them while watching the horizontal blade, and you can work out the right time to go from one to the other. And I would have had that if I'd nail struck down instead of across. Just my fingers did not do what they were meant to do. If I were live streaming, this is around about the point where I'd start saying things like, "So, how was your day?" Anything to fill in the silence. Might get some interesting chat going. You never know, depends on who's in on that particular day. Trouble is, of course, that trying to pay attention to chat would make the platforming even harder. I have not managed that pogo even once today, and that is kind of upsetting, because that is just a matter of staying in one place and maintaining a rhythm as you strike downwards. Although I have noticed there's a kind of effect, I think, that when you get better at something, I guess in games, maybe it applies more generally. when your skills get better at something, your performance actually gets worse and then gets better. I first noticed that and formulated it into a rule. The first time I was trying to beat Nightmare King Grim, and I think it's just because the things that were really difficult, you kind of transfer to muscle memory to stop having to concentrate on them so much. And that means you get a number of silly flubs, but it does also, I should not have duck jumped, it does also mean that your overall movement becomes more fluid, which is good in the end. It's just that if it's a hard task, then okay. There I did manage the pogo, but didn't manage the timing of getting onto the horizontal blade. So what you need to do is pogo on the horizontal blade. I'm explaining this all in advance so that I don't have to explain it if I get a good run. Pogo the horizontal blade, then dash through a very narrow passage. As you can see there, to the right. That was close. Hey, we're only half an hour in and I'm getting pretty close. And that is the end. That is the end of the room when you get through that narrow passage. But to actually get to the end, you have to do one last pogo. So you go through the dash under the ceiling and then jump up onto the saw blade that's stationary and pogo there while waiting for the moving one again. And then there's a final dash between two stationary saw blades, and then that's it. That really is the end. No, I should have just pogoed the spikes, because it was clear that there wouldn't be time if I did a jump. There wouldn't be time for them to come back. See there, I internalised that. I don't know what I was doing that time, just messing around really, just seeing what I could get away with. And there's one nasty surprise for you at the end. That's why I brought the Shaman Stone. And apparently that is the secret that had to be sealed away so deeply. A bond of affection between the king and the Hollow Knight. Apparently that's what prevented him from being void enough to fulfill his duty as the Hollow Knight. So, that is the sad truth we managed to uncover. But hey, we did it, and it wasn't an hour-long video. I'm actually really pleased with that. So, I'm going to take a break now. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.